Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we are hopping into this brand new Battlefield 1 game mode known as Incursions that I'm very excited to talk about because it is quite different than what you might be expecting from Battlefield 1 or what you associate with Battlefield 1. But before we hop too far into it, I want to say a huge thank you to EA for sponsoring this video by flying me out to frickin' Gamescom and letting me capture it there, providing me hotel, all that jazz. Super awesome of them. But now, here is the gameplay. So what Battlefield 1 Incursions is a 5v5 more competitive Battlefield 1 mode. I think there's a closed alpha coming out for it later this month for PC, and eventually they want to incorporate it across all versions and whatnot. But what you are seeing here is my gameplay, and I am kind of like the vehicle killer class. So there are tons of different classes here that you guys are probably wanting to hear about, so let's hop into that. So my class is called the AT Assault, which is specialized in taking out any enemy vehicles. The AT Assault is every vehicle operator's nightmare. So there's actually a very specific vehicle operator. What that is that it's the specific class that specializes in being able to spawn in vehicles. So there's only one class that can spawn in this vehicle and then utilize that vehicle. So like, for example, you'll see like a armored car driving around sometimes with a turret on it, right? Or you'll even see a light tank driving around. Those are some of the examples of what it can spawn in, and that's very specific to that class. So I'm playing the class that's pretty much supposed to counter him with some of my different abilities. Other classes include the Trench Surgeon, which is the medic of the team, able to heal and revive fallen team members. Control Leader, a master of vision denial with smoke grenades and masks. The Control Leader is the backline of the squad, and here's the really special thing about it. He's the only person that can be spawned on while out of combat, at least out of the classes that I saw in action. There's also the Battle Mechanic, which the primary job is to operate the team vehicles, movement and positioning, separate the great vehicle operators from the good. That's what I was talking about. That's kind of the one that my current class, the AT Assault, counters. There's also the Mortar Support, which is able to rain down explosives on foes and provide ammo for friends. The Mortar Support is superb at controlling areas from afar. There's the Raid Leader, which is able to get up close and personal, and the Raid Leader can place spawn beacons for people to spawn on. I don't think we had a Raid Leader in our game because it is a 5v5, so there are only 5 classes that you can pick, and I'm listing more than 5 here. There's also Shock Assault, which is able to pack a punch against both infantry and vehicles. The Shock Assault is well-rounded in their ability to make things go boom. Proximity Recon excels at obtaining information for the team and using that intel to dispose of enemies up close. So those are the classes, at least to my knowledge, as of so far. Now, as a heads up, this is not going to be 100% the greatest gameplay in the world, right? Because I'm not a Battlefield 1 god. I used to be pretty damn good at the game back when I played a lot more often. Now, though, I haven't been playing as much lately, but with Battlefield 1 Incursions coming out, I'm kind of pretty tempted to hop back into it because this game mode is just such a cool kind of twist to the usual Battlefield 1 formula, and honestly I kind of really like it because it kind of incorporates some like MOBA elements. Like, I'm not saying it's like League of Legends meets Battlefield, but I'm saying it's like you have some of those elements from like League of Legends kind of like being incorporated where it's like a MOBA. So because you have like all these different classes, you're fighting over an objective, kind of like how there's lanes in that jazz. But you're probably wondering how the hell you actually score in this game. So there are a variety of ways to score. You can score by confirming a kill. That's where someone dies and is not able to be revived by the medic. You can score points by continuing to hold the objective here, the middle objective that we're fighting for. I think you're able to score points for potentially, I want to say, blowing up vehicles. Don't quote me on that, though. I know you can get bonus points if you wipe out the entire enemy squad. There's a variety of ways to get points. So what happens is you accumulate points in each set, and whoever wins the set will get a point, or like will get that set added to their total. Now, if they have that set added, then the next set starts, everything's reset, it's 0-0 in that specific set, and people and the teams start battling to try and win that set through kills, through battling for the objective, that type of jazz. So it's kind of like a bit of a scoring system, maybe like, I mean, I guess you could compare it to like volleyball or like tennis where there are sets and stuff. But yeah, there's also a halftime incorporated into the game, which is reached once you reach enough points or once enough time has elapsed. So what happens after halftime is that the sides will switch and everything will be reset. Now, what I mean by that is because a couple of things progressively happen in this game mode. So vehicles, for example, if a vehicle is blown up, it permanently becomes part of the map. So, like, it's not like it's gonna despawn like in normal Battlefield 1. So, like, there's actually strategery. There's actually strategy. So where you might happen to blow up an enemy's vehicle, or like where maybe you're positioning your vehicle. So like, okay, I'm putting my vehicle here. That way, worst case, if it gets blown up, I get something pretty nice out of it. So yeah, that's one of the kind of like things to consider, is that vehicles are permanent on the map, or their wreckages are, and you can utilize that as strategic cover if you put it in the right place. Anything like that. Now, another thing that resets is actually the progression of your class. Like, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed yet. I'm not sure if it's happened so far in game. But what happens is your class is slowly able to accumulate levels. You can actually see in the lower right-hand corner kind of that level system. So what happens is as your class levels up through just you playing the game, through getting points, through playing the objective, through killing enemies, any of that stuff, what ends up happening is that you unlock these kind of like perks specific to your class. So my specific perk, at least one of them, is my explosive charge, my anti-tank grenade, ends up becoming a glorified Molotov cocktail, where not only can I use it against tanks, but it has now become a grenade that explodes into a fiery explosion, making it useful not only against tanks, but also against infantry. I actually end up doing that a little bit later on, I think, in one of these clips. And the way I edited this video together is I just wanted to edit out all of like the death screens to kind of give you guys non-stop action. I didn't want any of the death screens in the gameplay, because that does take up a little bit, like a couple of seconds in between. So if you guys are wondering like how I'm hopping straight back into action and all that, that's just how I decided to edit this video, to try and give you guys absolutely non-stop action. But here, you can see I'm throwing that thing, right? And one of these, you can see that fiery explosion that happens, and boom! Another one right there is able to get some hit points, able to get some hits on an enemy, which I then track down and brutally murder against. But it's okay, because my medic's there to save the day. But yeah, I seriously love that perk. Another perk I got is, I think for the level 3 perk for my class, is my limpet charge. I'm able to like do something like throw it while charging. I don't know, I didn't completely understand what my level 3 perk was, so that was kind of like a bit confuzzled. I think another thing I get too is, I think for my first level I get some sort of passive effect that makes me take less damage from explosions. You can kind of see in the lower right hand corner, it does kind of demonstrate that. Right above the ammo counter you can see some of those icons. Now you can see that third icon is grayed out, so I'm kind of progressing to try and unlock that, and that's the limpet charge thing I was talking about. Now on the topic of limpet charges, you guys probably want to know how the class structure is set up. So what I think it is you're not able to pick like any weapon in the game, but each class has a couple of choices to pick from. So it's not like 100% customization, but you do still have some options, you do still have some choice. And for me, what it was, I think it was between this gun and one other one. I'm not gonna lie, these guns, these were never the guns that I used in Battlefield 1 in the first place. So I was like doing pretty, I was doing pretty poopy because of that. I'm not using that as an excuse. Okay, I still could have done better. But I don't know, I didn't like the weapons that this class had, but that's just personal preference. It's not what I'm used to when I play Battlefield. If I could have had like recon, maybe some closer quarters stuff, but this is kind of like mainly like single fire, stuff like that. But yeah, onto the class structure, at least in my experience, you're able to pick between 2 primaries, able to pick between a couple of secondaries, and then your gadgets are pretty set in stone. So my gadgets are this anti-tank grenade, and also the limpet charge, and boom shakalaka! That's where it gets fun, and look at that, that's what I love. I threw it against the vehicle, not only did it set the vehicle on fire, which did that, but it also set the surrounding area around the vehicle on fire, which is awesome, because then when the dude tries to hop out because he's panicking, because he's getting blown the hell up, he realizes, oh no, I am on fire, stop, drop, and roll, stop, drop, and roll, where's Smokey the Bear? But that's when I come in with my bolt, and I'm like, I'm Smokey the Bear today, and I kill him. That's not very Smokey the Bear of me, but, you know, I had a good cause. Just like that, I had a good cause to do what I attempted to do. Problem is that I failed epically at it. Now, there's also on each side, there are a couple of these, like, stationary weapons. On the other side, I don't know if there's a mortar, but we do have access to this mortar here that I'm going to be able to wreak a little bit of havoc with. Not mortar, but whatever, like, artillery, whatever the hell the name of this thing is. I always forget it. We have one on our side. I know on the other side there's actually a little bit of a chain gun, like a, not a chain, but like a mounted machine gun is available somewhere on the other side. And in terms of how the map structure is, so the maps, these are currently existing maps, but they kind of bring it down and try to focus all the action around a small area, like a specialized portion of the map. Now, at this point, I realize, oh hell, one of the enemy's mortar classes is starting to mortar me, so I'm like, alright, I'm getting the hell away from that thing. So that's kind of where like some cool strategy starts to come into play, is that in this 5v5, let's say like, hey, someone's doing a lot of damage to us. He's on that anti-tank gun or whatever. He's on the artillery gun. All right, I'm gonna set up my mortar behind a hill. I'm gonna start bombarding him and either kill him or chase him off. And that's what I love, especially in this 5v5 format. It just feels like all of your guys' actions are magnified. So it's not like in a 32 on 32 where the actions of one person, in the grand scheme of things, unless you're like, you know, the Jesus of Battlefield 1, you're not going to be able to carry. But here, because there's 5 players, you know, what you do really matters, and it kind of leaves a lot more room for, I guess, quote-unquote star power. Get it? Star power. But here you can see all the sets being counted up, how it works, how they were being collected, all that jazz. You can see it's 5-5 at halftime. So it's time for us to switch, and now we are on the other side. I think there's like a random French dude in the background. I don't know, so if you hear a random guy talking, he was the only person talking on our team. I think it was like established on our team that no one was gonna talk, but he was just like talking to his friend over his shoulder or something, and it resulted in him being on the game audio. And I couldn't switch it up, unfortunately, so, you know, gotta deal with what you gotta deal with. But anyways, here we are in the second half. We're getting to see what the enemy was experiencing for the last half. You can see that there's one of the enemy's vehicles actually trying to come and bind enemy lines. So this is me. Time to toss the limpet charge. This is where the limpet charge comes in handy. Oh, wait, what? Oh, there we go. Okay, I was about to say. I'm like, did you just drive over that thing without any repercussions? No. He had repercussions. So you can see my gadgets are very centered around the anti-vehicle variety. So it's very specialized, but my class only excels in very specific instances. Like in other instances, other classes are definitely like in general could be more useful, but when it comes to vehicles, that's when it's like, all right, stand aside, people. Papa Stars come through. I got some things to blow up, and that is when I proceed to do the blowy uppy. Not like a balloon animal or nothing like that. I'm not blowing up a balloon animal. Okay, I'm blowing up high explosives. You ever had high explosives at a party? Way better than balloon animals. Highly recommend. No, seriously, don't do that. Don't go over to mom. Don't ask her like, Ma, instead of the balloon animal person, can we have a C4? Because I think that might get me in a lot of trouble. So don't do that, okay? This is me telling you that I never told you to do that. And if you try to say this, I will deny it and delete this video. In which case, one of you guys have probably already downloaded the video and re-uploaded it. In which case, I may be screwed. But to hell with it. Just don't have C4 at your party. As fun as it might sound, don't do it. But okay, let's go back to talking about this a little bit. So I'm just gonna kind of read off what it's like, what the official statement is on it, and then I'm gonna continue to give you guys a couple of my impressions. So competitive, the Battlefield way. A new competitive Battlefield 1 experience developed in collaboration with the community. There's nowhere to hide, no way to retreat in the Battlefield 1 Incursions Closed Alpha. Tightly focused maps set the field for intense tactical matches designed to test the limits of your skill and teamwork in the crucible of competition. With the inclusion of Battlefield staples like soldier classes and vehicles, this is an experience that draws from everything that makes Battlefield special. So this is something they've been working on, I'm pretty sure since Battlefield 4. They've been working on this type of game mode, but they finally wanted to put it into testing. They're doing this closed alpha on PC for it. I think it's like mid-September, like I mentioned earlier. And honestly, I wish it was on console right away, because I was talking to my friends. I'm like, yo, this is awesome. Like, this thing coming out, I can't talk about it because I was like too early to talk about it. I'm just like, there's something awesome coming to Battlefield, and I can't wait for it. And I can't wait to hop into that with them, because it's I don't know, I like when you're able to hop in with a couple of friends and coordinate, and that's something I guess that's going to be a little bit newer to Battlefield, where you hop in with 4 of your buds, hop in Incursions, and then teamwork really starts to shine through, and you know, team chemistry really becomes important. And I don't know, I'm just really excited, and I guess I just can't find the right words to put my excitement into. Like, this is definitely something I can see myself casually playing, hitting up my buzz and being like, yo, buddy number 1, contact buddy number 2 and 3, I'll contact buddy number 4. We are playing Incursions. And that's when he says like, oh, I gotta make a casserole for Ma. And I'm like, damn it, tomorrow then. Another thing though, 5 versus 5 focused battles built in collaboration with the community. The Battlefield 1 Incursions Closed Alpha brings the authenticity of Battlefield 1 to a contained, small-scale battle. The Battlefield 1 Incursions Closed Alpha's uniquely designed smaller matches make it more than just another mode. Vehicles! Want to be Battlefield without vehicles. Much like the behemoths in the main Battlefield 1 experience, vehicles can turn the tide. Alright? The vehicles are like the moon of the world, okay? Make it high tide. Make it low tide. They can turn the tide of an Incursions Closed Alpha match, but they are not unstoppable, and destroying an enemy vehicle can be just as decisive as deploying one. That's where I come in. I'm the counter to that. But there's also strategic depth. Your choice in kit plays a critical role in the success of your squad, while every destroyed piece of environment can shift the entire momentum of battle. Only the sharpest strategic teams will rise to the top of the competition. Now, in terms of class picking, they picked the classes for us. Unfortunately, I would have loved to check out some other classes. This is just what I got, but I'm still happy to show you guys the gameplay. But there you can see I just unlocked that level 2 of my perk. That's how it works. You get that little notification on that. When I get that notification, I know what's going in my head. I'm like, alright, time for the inner pyromaniac of Star to come out. But also, you will be finding epic Battlefield moments. The impact of only in Battlefield moments lands even harder, as every point, every move, and every bullet becomes the difference between victory and defeat. Scoring has been overhauled to create opportunities for dramatic comebacks and nail-biting upsets. Something that you guys may very well be witnessing with us. We're down 6-8 right now. I ain't gonna say nothing, but I think you might like how the way the score is about to go. Discover Battlefield 1 Incursions for yourself as you head to an exclusive closed alpha test phase. Invitations will be limited, so register now for the opportunity to be among the first to experience it. Unfortunately, you cannot register anymore. This is a little bit of an older info sheet. The features, content, and systems of Battlefield 1 Incursions may change between closed alpha and its final finished form. This is just the beginning of a journey where the Battlefield 1 Incursions development team collaborates with the global Battlefield community to craft a long-term competitive experience. This is competitive the Battlefield way. So if this is at all something that interests you guys, if you guys got Battlefield 1, your feedback is appreciated in this, okay? They want to make an awesome game mode from the ground up with you guys. They've been working on it since Battlefield 4. If you consider yourself a Battlefield player, you hop into it at all, definitely try to voice your opinions on this, you know? Don't just, like, be quiet, but say what you want to say. Maybe even let me know in the comments section. I really want to hear what you guys think of this game mode so far from what you have seen from my gameplay. Honestly, I loved it so much. Like, I hate that I got stuck with the class I did. I did get some pretty cool clips of me blowing up vehicles, though, but for the rest of it, I don't know. These are just not my type of primary weapons for me to utilize. So, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I was still happy to be able to play this type of game mode, because playing something so fresh, so new, and so overhauled to the Battlefield 1 experience is like, it was a revelation. It was like insane. It was like playing kind of just a different game slightly, but it was still Battlefield 1 at its core. It still had all those awesome elements to make Battlefield Battlefield, but I just think, like, I think they got it right. They somehow managed to condense this into a 5v5 mode that holds the Battlefield 1 experience and gameplay at its core, but adds in all of these different things to add in strategery, adds in some of those, like, MOBA elements, and makes for a super awesome competitive experience. And me, dude, listen, I'm a competitive dude. So playing this, that's gonna get my competitive itch going real good. Now, you might be asking yourself, Star, what sets Battlefield 1 Incursions apart from other FPS competitors? Well, it's unique in that it has both infantry and vehicle combat, large-scale destruction, and relies heavily on strategy and teamwork, all within this competitive 5v5 setting. So that's where I really like it. In terms of how many players the modes support, again, it's strictly a 5v5 mode. That's one vehicle per team. The vehicle can be used at any time during a match, but it is limited to one per team. You are able to play on a scaled-down version of Battlefield 1's Giant Shadow, at least in the closed alpha. The map of open ground and rivers alongside the Katsuwasigny Railway, I totally butchered that, has been modified for a tight 5v5 battle. We'll have more information to share in the months to come. I talked about all the classes. Each kit has access to a limited amount of weapons, and each weapon category is represented in the Incursions Closed Alpha. So there's going to be long-distance bolt actions, LMGs, submachine guns, and all that jazz. In terms of vehicles in the Closed Alpha, you got the light tank and you got the armored car. And the competitive, there's going to be like a competitive kickoff and tournament structure eventually. Right now, they said there's nothing to announce at this time. The current focus of the Battlefield 1 Incursions team is to create a great competitive experience. So I guess that was like in the Q&A asking like, hey, when's it going to be a competitive season? Right now, they're just saying they just want to get this game mode right. So why are they introducing it now? It's been underway for quite some time, and after examining previous events in competitive play, the development team is building something from the ground up that they think is right. And so far, I think it's right. I think it's a ton of fun. Those are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hopefully you understood what was going on. I didn't feel it necessary to explain Battlefield 1 in depth because the game's been out for almost a year at this point, so I think most people know what it's like, what the gameplay is like, all that jazz. But look at that score, 10-8. Look at that comeback, dude. We totally brought it back thanks to our teamwork, our strategery. Now, there is a light tank over there that was pooping on us. I would have gotten to poop on it if it wasn't for the game over. But it doesn't matter. We win. We get the crown. We get the dub. That is right. You are looking at an official Battlefield 1 early incursion winner, baby. Team butter for life. You need some butter for those rolls? Girl. We did also end up ending a little bit early. We were short on time. It was supposed to go up to like, I think 11 or 12. But as you can see, we really started dominating there at the late game. But other than that, that is Battlefield 1 Incursions. I really hope you guys did enjoy. I enjoyed it a ton. I cannot wait to play more of it when it does come out. Hopefully, I don't know if I got into the PC Alpha, unfortunately. Hopefully I could, you know, finesse my way into there. But in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed this gameplay. This is the, like, one match I got to play. I played, like, a warm-up match before this, but that was, like, very condensed. A lot shorter. Rounds were a lot smaller, that type of stuff. But, yeah. That's gonna wrap it up for me, for my Battlefield 1 Incursions video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button. Let me know in the comment section down below, and make sure you are subscribed for more content like this, along with all sorts of other videos. But other than that, it's gonna wrap it up for me for now. Thank you guys all a ton for watching. Thank you to EA for making this possible. Making this tonsil? I think I was about to say making this tonsil. Do I need to get my tonsils removed? Oh, no. But thank you to EA for making this possible, for sponsoring the video by flying me out to freaking Germany, dude. That's a long way. Okay, it's not like I live in like Belgium or something. Like, nah, dude. I'm over here in America. I went like halfway across the world for this. So, yeah, yeah. So huge thank you for that. Huge thank you for providing hotel, and huge thank you for providing this amazing opportunity to capture incursions early. But other than that, it's gonna wrap it up for me. I'm wishing you guys nothing but the most fan-freaking-tastic day in the world. Seriously, hope it's going awesome for you guys. If it ain't, hope it gets more awesome. And if it doesn't, I hope tomorrow sets you down the path of fan-freaking-tasticness. But thank you guys so much for watching. Have yourselves a fan-freaking-tastic day. And I'll talk to you in the next one. See ya.